Hello friends, this is Dan once again along with Coco the Wonder Dog back there. Today's topic is the rapture. Um, it's in Greek it's called the harpazo. Um, Now some believe that the second coming and the rapture are the same thing. And this is not something that as believers we should argue about. If you believe in mid-trib rapture or the post-trib rapture, uh, you're still a brother or sister in Christ. That's not a foundational issue. Um, I'll link below to a chart to show the difference between the two events, which should demonstrate that the belief in either mid-trib or post-trib raptures can't really be true. There's those that believe the mid-trib would occur in the middle of the tribulation when the Antichrist goes into the temple and proclaims himself as God. Now, the problem with both views are really twofold. The rapture is supposed to be imminent at any time. No one knows the day or the hour, but if it's in the middle of the tribulation or at the end, you can count down the days, and that shouldn't happen if it's imminent. Also, the other problem is if we get our glorified bodies as believers in the middle or the end of the tribulation, well, who goes into the millennium? Because people with natural bodies go into the millennium period, the 1,000-year reign of Christ, and they have kids, and they wouldn't be able to do that in their glorified bodies because we neither marry or are given us marriage when we're in heaven. The pre-trib allows us to meet Jesus in the clouds as Jesus' bride, get our glorified bodies, and remain in heaven those 7 years of tribulation as God pours out his wrath over the earth. I mean, his bride wouldn't be down there getting beaten up this whole time. The Bible tells us to comfort one another with the words of the rapture. I mean, think about it. Being the bride is as symbolic as a marriage between us as a group of Christ. He's not saying, "Come, my bride, I'm going to beat you up for 7 years." Comfort one another with these words. So if you don't have a pre-trib rapture, then it turns that marriage supper of the Lamb into a sack lunch. There will be many that get saved during the tribulation and will refuse the mark and risk martyrdom. Many will die. There will be angels during this time proclaiming Jesus as Lord, flying through the air, 144,000 Jewish evangelists traveling through the world, and they're protected by God. They're witnessing, and then the two witnesses in Jerusalem who are either Elijah and Moses, which I believe, or Elijah and Enoch. I mean, it doesn't mean I'm right, but it's just what I personally believe, that it'll be Elijah and Moses. They'll be given supernatural abilities to witness. The ones that survive to the end will enter that millennium period of paradise, and the people will live like they did before the flood of Noah. I believe the pre-trib position, as I've said before, is a correct one, and we could go at any time. Now, here's another point. There are hints that as a shepherd mentioned in the Bible knows and calls his sheep by name, and we have the example of Jesus calling Lazarus forth from the grave. He didn't say come forth, or the possibility is everybody that was in a grave would have come out at that time. But we may actually hear our individual names. Now, we'll be changed into our glorified bodies instantly in the twinkling of an eye, which is not a blinking of the eye, it's the twinkling, which is much faster. The twinkling is the time it takes for light to pass through the retina of the eye. Now, this may be what they call the Planck time, which cannot be subdivided. It's 10 to the minus 43 seconds. Well, that's pretty fast. There's no amount of time smaller than that. This may be the same, as I've said, as a twinkling of an eye. Well, also, size has a limit. The smallest measurable amount is the Planck length, which is 10 to the minus 33 centimeters. Well, what does that mean? What's that got to do with the price of eggs? Well, what it means is we live in a digital universe. The stars in the sky are at discrete distances also. They're quantized. Okay, I'll give you an example. A football field, the quanta of that is a yard. It has 100 yards to make up the football field. The universe is digital like that, and also like a piano in musical terms, because the piano is divided into half steps. Now, if you're evolutionists, and you're looking at that theory, well, they would assume the universe is not digital. It's analog. It's like the stars are just flung everywhere by chance. But being digital, as we can, science is proving, it shows that the universe was designed, which means there's a designer. Finally, when we're changed in an instant, we don't necessarily go up to meet Jesus instantly. Mondo Gonzalez of Prophecy Watchers is the first person that I've heard that brought this up. You'll notice if you look back in the Old Testament, Elisha watched Elijah go up slowly in the clouds. In Revelation, the two slain witnesses slowly ascend to the clouds, kind of as in your face to the Antichrist. Jesus slowly ascended into heaven in front of the disciples as he was speaking. Now, we'll have to wait to see if that's what happens for sure. Film at 11, as they say. I've got the links below, and may God richly bless you.